Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So in this channel, I'll be giving out UFC fight predictions for each and every UFC fight night card, as well as for each and every UFC pay-per-view. I'm going to go through the whole fight card, starting with the early prelims and moving up to the main card and of course to the main event, and then I'm going to give out my fight prediction. So actually, I'm thinking of giving out a little bit of a bigger breakdown for the main event fights and some interesting fights, and for each and every other fight we are going to just go straight to the point, and we're going to talk about how the match is going to pan out and give up my prediction. So a little bit of little introduction about myself. My name is Pamu, and I have been following UFC for over 15 years now, UFC and MMA, and since like 2007, and I haven't missed a single UFC fight since 2010. So watching UFC, following MMA is one of my one of my favorite things to do, and I'm really passionate about this, and I really love doing this. So I thought of making this YouTube channel to give out my fight predictions, so that I can dig deep and dive deep into the MMA world, as from starting from here onwards. So yeah, so let's just get into it. So the first fight card I'm going to give up predictions is going to be UFC Fight Night Brunson versus Steel, or UFC Vegas 36. So this fight card is really interesting. It has got 10 fights as of right now, and we got some really good fight. We got some really good prospect from the UK or the British MMA scene in this fight card, like Jack Shaw, Tom Aspinall, and of course England favorite son Darren is fighting in the main card. So this really interesting fights are there. So let's just get into it and get those fights broken down, and I'm going to give my fight prediction for each and every fight. Yeah, so the first fight of the card is Jonathan Martinez versus Marcelo Rojo. It is in the bantamweight division, and actually both of these guys are coming off of TKO losses in their last fights. Jonathan Martinez, of course, got knocked out by David Grant, who is a savage actually in the first round. Actually, Jonathan Martinez was doing really well, and then in the second round, David Grant just came back and he just knocked out Jonathan Martinez with the overhand right, as I can remember, overhand left, as I can remember. So let's take a look at the tale of the tape for these two fighters. So of course, Marcel Rojo actually fought against Jourdain in the last fight, but it was a weight class above this weight class as he's fighting right now. So actually, he was fighting at a featherweight. Actually, he really gave a good fight to Jourdain. It was a back and forth fight, and both of them were landing shots, and it was a wild fight. So the key to this fight is also that thing. If this fight stays technical, it will really favor Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez has got really good crisp boxing, and he has got fast hands. And Marcel Rojo, he thrives in those wild dog fights. That's the case. So if Marcel Rojo can make this a wild fight, an aggressive fight, where Jonathan Martinez will throw caution to the wind and he's going to engage with him, it's really going to favor Marcel Rojo. Marcel Rojo has got a lot of knockouts in his career, even in the regional scene, and some flashy knockouts as well. So Jonathan Martinez, though he's technical, sometimes he could get a little bit careless with his defense. That's what we saw against David Grant. So actually, for this fight, my prediction is going to be actually Marcel Rojo is going to have a hard time in the first round with Jonathan Martinez's boxing and his fast jabs and fast strikes. But come the second round, Marcel Rojo will push the face, and he's going to back up Martinez to the cage and be aggressive, and I think he's going to make this a wild fight. So if he makes this a wild fight, it will really favor Marcel Rojo, because I think Marcel Rojo really is the more powerful guy in this fight, I think. And I think my prediction will be Marcel Rojo will win via TKO in the second round. So we're going with Marcel Rojo to win via TKO in the second round as an underdog as well. So according to Tapology, is the plus 130 underdog as well. So this is a close fight actually, because if Martinez keeps his this fight technical, he could really grab this maybe via unanimous decision. But I think Rojo will make it aggressive, a wild fight where they will throw down, and I think Rojo will catch Jonathan Martinez with a punch, and he will win via TKO in the second round. And so let's move on to the second fight of the fight card. It is in the middleweight division. It is Dalcha Lungiambula versus Marc-Andre Barriault. So this is interesting. Dalcha is a very powerful guy. You can see with his build, right? I mean, he's short. He has this stocky build and his reach for the middleweight division. But the thing is, sometimes inside the octagon, he could get a little bit, lackadaisical. Like he's not throwing too much punches. He's not a volume guy. Actually, he's waiting for that power punch, that powerful shot. Sometimes this could cost him. Dalcha. He though he's a powerful guy, we really haven't seen that one punch knockout power anything from him. Yeah, he won against Dequan Townsend via TKO in round 3, but yeah, then he got knocked out by Magomed Ankalayo in the light heavyweight division, but then he came back to the middleweight division and he beat Marcus Perez by unanimous decision, and now he's facing Marc-Andre Barriault. So the same thing can be said about Marc-Andre Barriault. He's coming from the Canadian regional scene, and Marc-Andre, he started the UFC career, and it was a very rocky start, right? I mean, he lost 3 fights in a row, all by decision. After that, in his last fight, actually, he had a really good outing against Abu Azeta. Everyone's expecting Abu to win that fight, but Marc-Andre was, he wasn't denied. He just weathered the early storm, and after that Abu Azeta was so tired, and Marc-Andre just took advantage of it, took him to the ground and just ground and pounded him, and just got a TKO finish in the third round, in the final seconds of the third round, as I remember. And so the point that we can take from that fight is that Marc-Andre is durable. He can go 3 rounds at a considerable pace. So Dalcha can, his cardio isn't his strongest suit, but recently he's pacing himself. But if Marc-Andre can push a pace, that is really going to affect Dalcha. But what I think Marc-Andre should and will respect Dalcha's punching power. So he's going to keep this fight in the range, and he's going to actually use his jab, his leg kicks, and his strengths to keep the fight at a distance. And Marc-Andre will, I think, win a unanimous decisions in the judges' scorecards, like 29-28 or even 30-27. So I think I'm going with Marc-Andre Barriault to win the unanimous decision in this fight. So let's move on to the next fight of the fight card. It's Charles Jourdain and Julian Erosa in a catchweight fight. Oh, interesting. So I think both of them were fighting in featherweight earlier in their fights, I think. And Charles Jourdain is a very young prospect. He's just 25 years of age, and Julian Erosa here is the he's the tricky veteran. So you can never count him out. It was a tough fighting for Julian Erosa in his last fight, and it was really scary too. Same with Joy, knocked him out in the first round, and that was really scary. I mean, Julian Erosa, he's not really old. He's just 32 years of age, but he has the miles. He has fought in MMA for a long time. So what happened there was actually Sengu Choi is a really good striker, but he hasn't really shown that one punch knockout power. And when a fighter like that gets a one punch knockout over someone, it's really scary, right? And because Charles Jourdain, he packs a punch, and he's powerful, he's aggressive, he's always winning punches, and it could get scary too, because sometimes I have seen Charles Jourdain winning his punches, and a crafty veteran like Julian Erosa could counter those punches and really make him pay for that. But I think Charles Jourdain will have the upper hand in this fight, and I think he's going to push the pace, and he's going to make this fight aggressive, and he's going to get a TKO win against Julian Erosa in the very first round, I think, in my opinion, because Erosa's chin is a little bit is a concern as of right now, but he's a crafty veteran, so we can never count him out. But I'm willing to go with Charles Jourdain in this fight to win via TKO in round number 1. And let's move on to the next fight, and it is Jack Shaw versus Liudvik Sholinian. Yeah, Jack Shaw is one of the hottest prospects in the bantamweight division, right? He's really young, he's well-rounded, he's got crisp boxing, and he's got amazing grappling, and he can push a pace, and he's a grinder basically, and he's fighting Liudvik Sholinian. We saw him in the Ultimate Fighter last season, and well, basically both of them are grapplers in my opinion. Like Luigi is a grappler himself, and Jack Shaw is well rounded. But I like Jack Shaw's grappling more than his striking. His striking is good, but uh, Jack Shaw does his best work when he goes for grappling, for grinding, and for his submission. So this is an interesting fight, Like I think Luigi is jumping in as a short notice replacement. I think against let's see. I think it's yeah. Jack Shaw was supposed to fight someone else. I think yeah, he was supposed to fight Said Nurmagomedov. Jack Shaw was supposed to fight the striking Said Nurmagomedov. Then he got another opponent like Zavid Lasishvili. And after that, both of them, after Zavid also pulled out from the fight, it is like Louis Sholinian jumping in on short notice. So this is interesting. Jack Shaw is still somewhat green in some areas, but he's really good. Like he's well rounded. So I think this fight, what Jack Shaw should do in this fight is actually go for his offensive grappling, and if he can do that, Ludic is a grappler himself. But I think Jack Shaw will be the better grappler, a little bit level above Ludic Sholinian maybe. And I think Jack Shaw is going to go for his grappling, and he's going to actually overwhelm Liudvik Sholinian with his grappling. And actually, Jack Shaw's boxing is not that bad, but still, I think the best path for victory in most fights for Jack Shaw is to go for that grind, like to make it a grappling fight, grinding grappling fight. So I think in this fight, I think I'm a little bit confident. I'm actually confident Jack Shaw will just get this done, and I think he will win by submission in the first round. I really like him winning inside the distance in this fight. Ludic is not bad, but Jack Shaw is the more, he's the prospect here. I mean, Ludic is not bad. I mean, no offense or no disrespect, but he's coming off a short notice as well. I think Ludic has a good chance of showing his skills maybe in the next fights as well. But for now, I think I had to go with Jack Shaw in this matchup, beating Ludic submission in the round 1. And let's move on to the next fight. It is women's flyweight. Yeon Kim versus Molly McCann. So now this is interesting because Kim is having 10 inches of reach over Molly McCann and 3 inches in height according to Tapology, and that is massive. If you know how to use reach, even if it's like a couple of inches, and if you know how to use that reach, that is a big advantage in any fight. But the thing is, we have seen there are some fighters that have massive reach, but they don't know how to use it. They are not utilizing it well, and that's not a good thing. But this fight is interesting. Actually, I like Molly McCann in this fight. It is the fight is so close, and I think I had to go with Molly McCann, and because I think she's aggressive. She's gonna push the face. She's gonna be on Ji Kim's face every minute of the fight, and the scary part is the reach, and actually Ji Kim has good striking too. Remember I think in that event Taker versus Adesanya, she knocked out Nadia Kassem with some beautiful combination, and that's good. But Nadia Kassem isn't she isn't the very best fighter, to be honest. But Ji Kim goes good striking, so with that reach, and she could really pose some trouble for Molly McCann. And Molly McCann, she's aggressive, she's tough, and she's coming off a couple of losses as well. She lost to Lara Procopio in her last fight, and Molly McCann is kind of the grappler in here, but sometimes she can get out grappled or out hustled as well. She lost to Tyler Santos before that, also by decision, and actually Molly McCann was in a good like a 3 fight win streak before that, and her UFC debut was a little bit of a mess. She lost via submission to Gina Robertson, but Gina Robertson can do that to anyone. So this fight interesting. I think what's going to happen is Molly McCann is going to keep the pressure. She's going to be aggressive and she's going to win a decision over judges' scorecards. And this reach advantage for Yeon Kim is going to be interesting, but I think Molly McCann's aggression will pay the dividend here. I mean, in the first round, I think McCann will have trouble finding that trouble getting inside the range of Yeon Kim, but as the fight progresses on, she will be able to get inside of Yeon Kim's reach and then get the fight into a clinch and maybe take her down a couple of times and get the control going on. And I think Molly McCann will win via 29-28 unanimous decision, or it could be a split decision too. So it's a close fight, but I think the aggression and the grappling game of Molly McCann will help her win this one. She will win by decision. So it's a close fight. So yeah, let's move into the next fight, and then it is the lightweight fight between Luigi Vendramini versus Paddy Pimblett. Of course, Paddy Pimblett is one of the hottest prospects or one of the most hyped up fighters coming into the UFC right now from the regional scene from the UK. Actually, he's a decent grappler. He's got good grappling skills, and actually both of them are really young. Both of them are like 25 and 26 years. And Luigi Vendramini is not a bad fighter. I think his base is jiu-jitsu too, so his base is grappling. In his last fight against Fares CM, he lost a majority decision, but it was a very close fight. Actually, in the first round, he was getting lit up with jabs by Fares CM, and Fares CM looked like a really good striker with range there. But then, as the fight progressed on, Luigi pushed the pace and make it a close fight. He just tried to initialize his grappling and everything. So this Paddy Pimblett versus Luigi fight is really exciting. I mean, we get to see how Paddy Pimblett is going to do in the UFC, and Luigi is not a easy task in his first fight. Luigi Vendramini, he's got good striking, good power. That knockout against Jesse Diary was really good for Luigi Vendramini, and this fight is a close one as well. Most of the fights in the fight card are really close. Because it depends on that certain factor, whether Paddy will be able to use his grappling, his grind, whether for an example whether Jack Shaw will be able to use his grind, his grappling, whether Marcelo is going to make that fight a wild one. So I think in this fight, I think Paddy will be able to get his grappling going on, and I don't think he's going to be able to submit Luigi Vendramini, but I see Paddy Pimblett going out there, and he's going to make it a file fight. He's going to use his grappling, and he's going to get top position against Luigi Vendramini, and I think he's going to win a ground and pound TKO win against Luigi in the second round. So my prediction is like Paddy Pimblett to win via TKO in round number 2. So it's a close fight, but I think we'll see Paddy Pimblett getting his victory in the octagon. And yeah, moving on to the next fight, it is Khalil Rountree Jr. versus Modestas Bukauskas. I think I watched that name, but I'll call him Modestas. So Khalil versus Modestas. So Khalil Rountree, he came from the Ultimate Fighter. I think it's where Yeon and Claudia Gadelia coached. And yeah, he's got really good striking, Khalil does, but especially in the Bukauskas win, his stock went really high. His striking prowess, that stock of striking prowess went really high after the Bukauskas knockout. He has a good knockout win of Paul Craig as well, so that's really interesting. And after that Johnny Walker knockout, he got knocked out by Johnny Walker with that elbow, and that his hype really fell down after that. And after that, he bounced back with an amazing win over Eric Anders, and I think Khalil Rountree went to Thailand or something to polish up his Muay Thai, and after he returned from Thailand, he looked like a beast again that Eric Anders fight. He just beat Eric Anders, and Eric Anders is so tough, he didn't want to go down, otherwise he just completely completely dominated him with striking, and he made Eric Henderson kind of like a punching bag or something like that, and it was an amazing performance. And again, the consistency is the problem with Khalil Rountree. Then he lost to Yeon Kutalaba, and that last loss to Marcin Prachnio was really alarming. I mean, I don't know. It just he didn't like pull the trigger. His volume was low, and he wasn't really trying to, he didn't have that mindset to win that fight. And actually, Marcin Prachnio, many people believe that Khalil Rountree could knock out Marcin Prachnio. Actually, to be honest, Marcin Prachnio's chin is actually really good these days. I mean, look, Rockhold might be wondering where he could get a chin like that, and we could buy a chin like that, where Marcin Prachnio got a chin. So it's interesting. Like Modestas is also a striker. Both of them are strikers in this fight. He's a younger guy, Modestas. He will have a 4-inch reach advantage and 2 inches of height. Yeah, Modestas Bukauskas also, he came to the UFC, and I think he faced Andreas Michailidis in his UFC debut, and it was the controversial win where Andreas was leaning over the octagon door, the cage, door of the cage, and then the officials just opened the octagon door, and he just fell through the door and something like that. That crazy shit happened. So yeah, and after that, actually, he lost to Jimmy Crute via TKO, and in his last fight again, Mikhail Olisejuk, he lost via decision, but actually, he really showed some skills in that fight. In the later rounds, he just came back with some good crisp boxing, and Mikhail was getting tired. Actually, Mikhail Olisejuk is a common opponent for both these guys, and Mikhail really won a good decision over Khalil Rountree, and had a close split decision win over Modestas, if you are really into things like that, like the comparison or something like that. But uh, all those things aside, I think this fight will be contested on the feet, and I think both of them respect each other's powers, and it's interesting to see which Khalil shows up in this fight. It depends. The fight depends on which Khalil shows up for the fight night. Is it this determined to win Khalil, or it is this other Khalil who is not just letting it hands go. So, anyways, I would think that Modestas will use his reach. He has the reach and the height, and I think he's going to keep it at a bay. It's going to be a close fight, and both of them are going to have their moments, but I think Modestas Bukauskas will win via a unanimous decision over Khalil Rountree Jr., and it's going to be a close fight. And moving on to the next fight, it is going to be David Zawada versus Alex Morono. Interesting. Welterweight fight is really interesting. Alex Morono, of course, coming off that impressive victory over Donald Cowboy Cerrone, and don't get me wrong, we all love Cowboy, but Cowboy is kind of like over the hill by now. But still, to go out there, I think it was short notice for Alex Morono as well. Go out there and do that Cowboy is really impressive. And we have seen against even Anthony Pettis, he had a close fight against Anthony Pettis, so he held his own against Anthony Pettis. So it's really interesting. He has a win over Max Griffin as well, so Max Griffin is actually kind of doing really good nowadays in the UFC as well. So he has a couple of good wins, couple of TKO wins, and a submission over Joshua Bergman as well. And Morono he's like technically sound, and he's a well-rounded guy. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt as well. But the thing is, he could get tired later in the second round or in the third round when he's pushing a pace. So that's a little bit of a concern for Alex Morono. David Zawada, of course, David Zawada submitted Abubakar Nurmagomedov in that fight, and it was an upset actually, because Abubakar is supposed to be this next Khabib or something like that. This Khabib's cousin, or he's Khabib's cousin or someone. The thing is, David Zawada, he's a tricky guy. He's got good submissions, and yeah, he's a good fighter. Both of them actually of the same age, 31 years of age, and Zawada will have 1 inch of height and 3 inches of reach over Alex Morono, but I think Alex Morono will win this fight via unanimous decision. I don't see him like. I don't want him to like go to the ground and test the grappling against David Zawada, because David Zawada is a tricky guy, has a tricky guard. So I think Morono will keep this fight on feet, and he will win the first couple of rounds based on damage and his work rate, and maybe even David Zawada could go out and in the third round he could win that round, but I think ultimately Morono will win this fight via unanimous decision. I'm going 29-28 for Alex Morono in this fight. And we are going into the co-main event, and it is Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Spivak. And Aspinall is one of the hottest and brightest prospects in the heavyweight division. He's still 28 years of age, and Sergey Spivak too. Spivak had a very rocket start. Spivak had a not so much good start with his UFC career. As I remember, he lost via TKO to Walt Harris, and after that he showed up and he submitted Taito Ivanza, and he lost via decision to Marcin-Tybura, but he outgrappled Carlos Felipe to win a decision. It was a major decision, but I thought it was a clear unanimous decision to Sergey Spivak. And he won against Gerard Vendra, and in his last fight he won a decision over Alexei Oleinik. So grappling Sergey Spivak's pace, sambo grappling, that is his pace, but he's developing some good striking. He's still 26 years of age, so when you compare these two fighters, both of them are really, really young in heavyweight division, and both of them have good future. And Aspinall is actually 2 inches taller, but the reach is identical in this match. Tom Aspinall he's a well-rounded fighter. He's good crisp striking. He's a really well-rounded guy. He has good BJJ, good grappling, and he came into UFC and he just knocked out Jake Collet in the first round and Alan Bedo in the first round, and after that he got a submission victory over Andrei Arlovski in the second round. In the first round, actually, Thomas was having some trouble with Andrei Arlovski, but the thing is, anyone can have trouble with Andrei Arlovski. Andrei Arlovski is one of the toughest outings in the game. Even at that age, he's just a good veteran. So he was giving Tom Aspinall trouble. But what Aspinall did was he came out in the second round. He just straight away went to the takedown and got the takedown and just surprised Andrei Arlovski and just got the submission. So it shows that he has that fight IQ to change things around when he sees things are not going in his way. So that is a really important. That's a really important aspect of the game. To have that ability to change things around. So he has the skills and the ability to change things around and the mindset to do this as well. Thomas Aspinall. So it's a really good thing. So I think this fight is actually it's sad to see any one of them lose, because both of them are really young, good prospects. But I think Tom Aspinall will be a little bit too much for Sergey Spivak at this time, and I think we have seen Sergey Spivak get hit a few times as well. His defense could be a little bit lacking, but his grappling could be his key. But Aspinall got some good grappling BJJ on his own too. So it's interesting. So I think what will happen is Tom Aspinall is going to go there. He's going to land a couple of good punches, good kicks, and he's going to catch Sergey Spivak on the chin in the very first round. And I think Tom Aspinall is going to win by a TKO in the first round. He's going to catch Sergey Spivak with a counter, in my opinion, and he's going to win by TKO. So that's my prediction for the co-main event: Tom Aspinall by TKO in round 1. And then we are going into the main event of the fight night. It is Derek Brunson versus Darren Till in the middleweight division. So this is really interesting. 5 rounds of middleweight action. Derek Brunson, so he has secretly, like sneakily, he has built up a 4-fight win streak. So it's really good for Derek Brunson. I mean, at one point of his career, people just perceived him to be this gatekeeper of the middleweight division, but now he has won 4 fights in a row and 4 very good wins. A decision win over Kevin Holland. It was a little bit boring, but he did what he has to do, and he just exploited that in the whole in Kevin Holland's game in takedown defense. He just exploited it to the fullest and just got takedowns and just kept the control in, and he just really won that fight against Kevin Holland. Can't say anything bad about that. He did what he has to do. And before that, he just stopped the hype train of Edmund Shabazian, and it was a really impressive performance. Actually, Derek Brunson has got really good power in his hands. I mean, he won once in his career. He had this knockout streak, first round knockout streak for like 4 or 5 fights, as I remember. He knocked out Eddie Herman, Sam Helvey, Ron Jukau Carneiro, and Uriah Hall all in the first round before running into Robert Whittaker, of course, and then there was this controversial fight against Anderson Silva where he lost a unanimous decision too. Then again he won against Daniel Kalian and Lyoto Machida in the very first round, and then again he lost to Ronaldo Jacare Souza. But Ronaldo Souza, I mean Jacare was like a beast those days in those 2018, 2017 time. He was, because Derek Brunson is ultimately a wrestler and he didn't have the chance to go to his grappling. Like he has to strike with Jacare because no one wants to go to the ground with Jacare. Derek Brunson did not want to go to the ground with Jacare, so or Jacare just doesn't care to. He just throw down. He just throw with all his power because he knows no one wants to take him down. So maybe except Jack Hermanson, he just took Jacare down and controlled there. So that was interesting too. So but it was another fight. So then again he met Israel Adesanya, and that was a terrible performance for Derek Brunson as well. Adesanya just used his precision striking to knock out Derek Brunson, and Derek Brunson actually came to the fight with a lot of emotions. There's trash talking as well, so those things sometimes affect fighters in their fights. And then again he won. Then after Adesanya fight, actually, before Adesanya fight, he was like he's going to get a knockout or he's going to get knocked out. He's wigging his punches, chin on the air, and he's always scared to see Derek Brunson fight. Like always going forward, wigging punches, chin up in the air. It's almost like he's asking to get tagged. But after that Adesanya fight, he just he just became really calm. Like even in every fight, he's like taking a calm approach to every fight. He's just going to measure his strikes. He's not going to lunge like he used to. Now and then, of course, he lunges forward with some punches, but not as he used to. So he has shown some improved striking as well, and he's using his game plans with his wrestling, his grappling. So that's really interesting. So because of that, actually, he's in a 4-5 win streak. And all beating Elias Theodorou and Heinisch, both of them have decision, and then in Shabashian he just ground and pounded him out, and then Kevin Holland, of course, in his last fight by unanimous decision. So this it's a relatively more composed Derek Brunson coming into this fight. But then another concern is this: he's 37 years of age. So actually, the age is sometimes it can be a factor in MMA, especially in weight classes other than heavyweight. Of course, there are some exceptions like Glover Teixeira or Yoel Romero, but age is always a concern when making a fight pick or when going into a fight night. And Darren Till here is the younger guy. He's younger by 9 years, and Darren Till was a huge welterweight. He's a massive welterweight, but he isn't like a smaller middleweight either. He has good size. He's 6 feet tall and he has 75 inch of reach, and so Brunson will have 2 inches of reach advantage. But the thing is, Darren Till has got good. He's a well-rounded fighter himself. He's got good grappling, though we don't usually get to see that in the octagon. He's got good Muay Thai. He's got good striking. His kicks are good, and he's durable. And he has this will, this heart to go forward and really hurt the opponent. So Darren Till, well, he was. The thing is, he was supposed to become champion so early in his career because he had all this hype coming from UK, and all the fans were behind him, and he just ran into Tyron Woodley, and actually he didn't do anything in that fight. Basically, he just got submitted. So it was a disappointing performance. But after that, then he made Jorge Masvidal. When Masvidal was in that crazy knockout streak, then he won a split decision over Kelvin Gastelum, and then he ran into Robert Whittaker and lost a unanimous decision. So this fight is interesting, and this fight is interesting because if the fight stays on the feet, Derek Brunson does have power to catch Darren Till, but Darren Till is kind of the better striker with boxing and kicks. Brunson is definitely a better grappler, but the thing is, I don't think Brunson will really be able to, take down Darren Till at his will. Brunson was taking down Kevin Holland at his will, but because if there's any hole in Kevin Holland's game, that is his takedown defense. But Darren Till has far superior takedown defense, so Derek Brunson will not be able to get him to the ground at will. So he might be able to maybe once or twice, but Darren Till will just get back to his feet. He won't just lay there, with a closed guard and not doing anything. So that's going to make Derek Brunson tired, because even in the Kevin Holland fight, Derek Brunson was kind of getting tired. But whenever he gets tired, he just showed the takedown, and he just shot the takedown, and he just took Kevin Holland to the ground, and he just controlled him there, and just recovered his recovered his breath. So he won't be able to do that with Darren Till. So what is going to happen is Derek Brunson is going for some takedowns in the first round, and I think Darren Till will defend at least a couple of them. And after that, Brunson will be tired coming into the second half of the second round, and after that, Darren Till is going to push forward. He's going to push him towards the cage, and he's going to unleash some combinations and some kicks. And I see actually Darren Till landing a head kick which will rock Derek Brunson, and then he will finish him via ground and pound of some shots, and the referee is going to jump and save Derek Brunson. So I see Darren Till win via TKO in the round 2 in our main event, and then moving into the top 5 of the UFC's middleweight division. So guys, so here are my fight predictions for UFC Fight Night Brunson versus Till. So if you guys like this video, please leave a comment about your own predictions and how you see the fights will go, and just hit that like button below. And please do subscribe to my channel, and I will leave my links to my Twitter handle as well as to my Tapology account, and you can just go out and check them as well. Let me know how I should improve my videos, whether I should add something else, or whether I should talk about fights more, or whether I should make the videos shorter. Or just your opinions, just leave them, because this is my first video. So just let me know how the things should be, and I'm just waiting for your comments and your opinions as well. So I will just leave you guys in here with this video, and so catch you guys in the next video, in the next fight night. I think it is I think it's gonna be the next battle where it's gonna be Volkanovski versus Ortega. So I'll catch you guys in the next event. So until then, you guys stay safe, take care, and cheers.